Hey everybody, I just wanted to kind of show you some of the individual cards here. I mean, there's a lot of monsters. I didn't get a chance to really explain it all in learning how to play the actual game. So just kind of a quick thing here. You got your Count Dracula and these 5 generals, which are the original 5 Castlevania bosses. You got Death, the creature. He doesn't have his little Igor Fleeman guy with him. Instead of calling him the Mummy, I called him the Akamodon. In Symphony of the Night, I think he's Akamodon the second. So I just said, instead of just calling him Mummy. And there's only just one of him opposed to 2. Queen Medusa, and then Phantom Bat. And and these are all boss fights. Even though this guy has 16 hit points, he's not super strong. If you watch my how to play game, he only gets two attack die and 1 defending die. So anyways, and so those are all of the bosses here. And then there are level 4 monsters and goes down. So Lesser Vampire, which is technically a picture of Alucard from Castlevania 3 or concept art or something of the sort. I know people don't really enjoy this game, but I enjoy Castlevania 64. I think there's elements of that game that are cool. And so the fact you fight a bunch of vampires in that game, that's kind of the inspiration for it. And so there are several of these lesser vampire cards, and so that's what he is. These are stronger enemies here. So it's kind of going strongest to weakest. You got a Cyclops enemy, Carmilla, and she has her mask look. Another vampire, twin-headed dragon from Castlevania 3, Skull Knight from Castlevania 3. I'm just kind of going quickly here. Priests of a Dark Cult. These are Castlevania Adventure and Belmont's Revenge enemies. So Cyclops, Lesser Vampire, Priest. I'm just kind of going quickly here. So these are all level 4 enemies. Level 3 enemies, Bone Pillar, Axe Armor. This one is, I believe, a Belmont's Revenge or Castlevania Adventure enemy. Gates of Death, which, I mean, you can call them something different. That's what I'm calling them here in this. That's a Castlevania 3, a red skeleton. This is the only card that actually has color on it because I wanted to make sure that you knew this was a red skeleton. And they're exactly as they are described. They don't drop anything, but they do keep coming back to life. White Dragon, Bone Pillar, Axe Armor, Metal Ghost. I'm kind of just going quickly here. Gates of Death. These are still level 3. So level 2 enemies are Armor, Gargoyles, a Fishman or Merman, Werewolf, Zombies, Skeletons, Armor, Fishman, Gargoyle, Werewolf. So these are all level 2 enemies. White Skeleton, again, I'm just kind of going fast. And then the level 1 enemies, Medusa Head, you got Bats, you got Fleeman, Big Eye from Castlevania Adventure and Belmont's Revenge, Bat, Fleeman, Medusa, Big Eye, Ghost, Giant Spider, Medusa, Giant Spider, etc., Ghost. So anyways, so those, hopefully you could see what I was playing there. So those are all the enemies. There's like 55 monster cards in here. Each of the enemies have about, I don't know, it's like 16 or so different guys. Maybe there's more. And then for the random encounter cards, real quick. So you have 5 boss orbs, and in my how to play, I didn't really even explain all that well how trying to level up works, but it really would have taken a long time. So a boss orb counts as a key item to go into Dracula's chambers at the end, which I didn't mention, but different sections here. So the level 1 and again, if you didn't watch my other one, I'm recording this now. It's almost 5 in the morning. But level 1 is like Castle Gardens. Level 2 is Castle like Entrance. 3 is 3 is Castle Ruins. 4 is Torture Chamber. 5 is Clock Tower, and 6 is Castle Keep. So like these little icons change as the game goes. It's just based off of what you have. So, and the other thing here, going back to the random and encounter cards, is that later on in the game you can find a random encounter of a key, and there's a secret room that requires a key. You can choose one of these things: a heart reducer. So pretty much, if your sub weapon requires 6 hearts, it only now takes 3 hearts, but you can only choose one of these. Belmont's bigger bag, which in this case, Belmont can only carry one item. In this case, you can now carry 2 items, and I'm happy with this art here, Omnia Vanitas. So just as this is Aria Sorrow. And so with this one, if you're trying to dodge any of these traps, and again, I'm assuming that you watch my how to play, you automatically get a successful dodge option, both for dodging traps or fighting monsters. So if you're fighting, for instance, this monster here, he takes 2 moves to dodge, and you would automatically get one. Or if you fought the Phantom Bat, he only requires one icon to dodge. You just be able to just dodge him. So that's what these are. You only choose one of these. You have to find the secret key or the secret room in order to get to him. Excuse me. And so that's there. Items are just exactly as they are. There's hearts and there are sub weapons. I fear I might have put maybe too many sub weapons and not enough hearts in there. So like if someone's playing this, they could take out one of each sub weapon to make the amount of hearts be in there higher. Oops. And so, hearts, or not hearts, but the sub weapons are pretty simple. You got your holy, even though these pictures are different than what I have on the icon here, but your holy water, your axes, your knives. So with the sub weapons here, you actually roll, and again, you have to have enough hearts for them. Where did that thing go? Anyway, you have to have enough hearts for them. So, and just to be quick here, the knife or dagger, you roll 1d4. So yeah, if you rolled a sub weapon and you got 2, so you just did 2 damage, 2 just instant damage, because monsters cannot defend against sub weapons. The bosses do take less health, or they take half of what a sub weapon would have been. So yeah, if you rolled that 2, a boss would only take 1. But like, hey, if you're fighting like a level 1 fight, then the monster just lost half of its health. So holy water does 6 points of damage. So that wasn't a very good roll, but you just did 1 point. Plus the monster loses a defense die for that turn. And how that works is that all the defense and attack are all rolled, and then the monster's choice gets to take out one of its defense die results. So it is up to them. The cross does 2d4. Again, 1 is supposed to show it's supposed to go on the way there and on the way back. So for instance, that was 2 damage, so not great. And then yeah, so the dagger costs 2 hearts, holy water costs 3, cross costs 4 hearts, and you can't see it, but this is supposed to be a bigger heart, and so that's 5. And the Bible, which is kind of a fun fact here, but this is a Japanese concept art. The actual book opens up on the opposite side than opposed to how we would read it going this way. So it's going this way. You can see how the spine of the book is on if this will focus, the spine on the book is on the other side. Anyways, so the heart, or not heart, but the Bible does 1d10, and so hey, you just got 8 damage. Like, you just pretty much just obliterate this monster. Again, it costs you 5 hearts to use, but you pretty much just kick that monster's butt. And then for an extra like 2 more hearts, you can have it lose 1 of its attack die too. And then the axe requires 6 hearts, but you roll 1d12, and so I just got a 5 on that one. So, and then the stopwatch does require 10 hearts, but you freeze a monster for 1d4 turns. So if you had enough hearts, you just froze that monster for 2 turns. Monster cannot do anything. It can't attack. It can't defend. You're just getting in hits, assuming that you roll them. So those are your sub weapons. And then just to finish this off, kind of going here with the random encounters here. Again, these are all rolled if you got this question mark here. Kind of make it go by a little bit quicker. So you got a chapel card. So again, and I didn't show this in the how to play video because I just didn't get an opportunity to, but a chapel is the only way you can upgrade your stats. And so once you found a chapel, there's actually these transparent icons, and you'd place them wherever you can't find a chapel in that room, but you'd place them in the room that you found it in to represent this is now a chapel. And then a chapel, monsters can't go there. So if there was a monster and it was like here, it can't go into the chapel. It can go past the chapel, but it can't go into it. And now there's only 3 chapels in the game, and so you have to find them. And if once Belmont has enough gold, you can start to upgrade his stats. So 600 gold pieces for level 1, even though he starts off on the first level in this game. It's rare, but there is a chance you can go to level 0, so you have to re-upgrade. 700 for level 2, 800 for level 3, 900 for level 4, 1,000 gold pieces for level 5. And so, as the game goes, in my how-to video I was showing, it was showing that like the enemies are only dropping 100 gold, but like once you get to like a level 2 monster, they're dropping 400 gold, and level 4 monsters are dropping 700 gold. And then a boss orb automatically gives you a free stat upgrade. You don't have to be at the chapel for it. It's a free one-time use like upgrade, and you keep the boss orb with you. So if I played a full game of this, first off, this table would be completely covered in these castle tiles. And then the other thing is that I could show you more how the actual upgrades worked. But yeah. Anyway, let's keep on going here. Antidote. This is for you keep these items. Item is held within Belmont's bag. So if you were to get poisoned, you could use this and defend against the poison. What a horrible night to have a curse. The monsters get 2 extra damage for 4 turns. 4 of the monsters' turns. And that's something to be clear about. This is monsters' turns, and so it's not Belmont's turns, it's monsters' turns. And choices. This is not necessarily based off of an actual Castlevania thing, but I wanted something to try to hurt Belmont a bit, to have him lose a stat upgrade. So pretty much death comes, and he says, I'm going to kill one of these girls, because in this deck there are 3 cards. You can save 3 girls, which is a Rondo of Blood type thing here. Anyways, and death says, either you sacrifice, I think it's all your gold and all your hearts, and you must have gold and hearts, and I'll, and nothing will happen. But if you don't have golden hearts, I'm going to kill one of these girls, and if he kills one of these girls, you lose a stat upgrade. And then on top of that, one of the girl cards, one of the cards in here will go into the discard pile. But if you save one of the girls, then one of these cards where you have to make a choice will disappear. So, in short, if you don't sacrifice hearts and your gold, then death kills one of these girls. But if you do save one of these girls, then this card's gone. I know it probably didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's, yeah. Tornado. This one you have to have at least one boss orb, and you use it, and you can fly to any found chapel that you might have found. This is Castlevania 2 reference. Another chapel card. I'm just gonna kind of go quick here. The merchant, yeah. If I can say it again, it is 5 in the morning, so the merchant. This is, you have to have a even number of hearts. I don't know, I always thought in some of those games like Harmony of Dissonance, jeez, that, like, to find the shop in there, you had to, have a certain amount of, I don't recall if it's gold or something, and he showed up. Anyways, I always thought that was fun. Here you can buy certain items, you can sell certain items. Anyways, so that's what that is. Of course, your famous wall meat. This one, it heals. It says Belmont uses his whip to break a wall. Incredibly enough, he finds a fresh roast hidden within. The roast is delicious and fully restores Belmont's life. So that's kind of fun. There are 5 of those in here, so being able to heal is pretty easy. As well as you can carry this in your bag for future use. Secret room. There are 3 secret rooms here, and I didn't really get a chance to use them, but there are secret rooms that if you find a secret room, you can pretty much pick any sub weapon that you want. So here is maiden card. Pretty much you find a maiden, you have to get her back to a found chapel. And like there are rules. Hey, what if there's no chapel found? Well, then she hangs out with you, and she doesn't have her own stats. She just hurts Belmont's stats. So, like, if you have a maiden with you, you lose 2 die from attack, defense, and movements, but you can't go past or 1. And so you have to save her. But if you get to save her, you get an automatic stat, increase for it. So totally up to you. You don't have to save her. Another choices card. I'm just gonna go the Confessional, which is a Symphony of the Night. You roll 6-sided die if you agree to sit down from the ghostly priest. On let's see here, on 1 to 3, Belmont is healed by 1d6 points. On a result of 4 to 6, Belmont is stabbed and dealt 1d6 points of damage. Belmont cannot be killed, and so the priest comes and says, "Please sit." And you roll your 6-sided die. In this case, it was a 1 through 3, so Belmont would have been healed 5 points of damage, or the possibility he would have been dealt 2 points of damage. So that's what it is. It's Symphony of the Night. Last chapel here, which, like, the whole entire how the game works and how the board works, and there's all sorts of stuff I didn't even get to, like how you can go upstairs, but then like the level 2 or 3 castle tiles can then hook up to level 1. There's a bunch of stuff here. Zombie hands. If they grab you, you lose one of your turns and you're dealt damage. But you can, now with zombie hands, you can dodge them, kind of similar to how you would dodge anything else. It starts off, you only have to roll 1 dodge. As the game goes, you have to start rolling more more of these dodges. This will instantly kill any boss, or not any boss, but you can kill any enemy you're fighting except for Dracula. So you could technically have this item be fighting Death here and just say, I want to use this, and Death would just instantly die. So that's what that is. Evil painting. This is supposed to be a Castlevania 4 where the painting grabs you, as well as Rondo where you're in the ghost ship and the painting grabs you. This is it just comes and pretty much it stops you from one of your turns. The confessional, we did that. Another wall meet. Morning Sun has vanquished the horrible night. That's the opposite of what a horrible night to have occur. So instead of monsters getting 2 extra damage, Belmont gets 2 extra damage. So this one, Purification. Again, I know that people aren't really too fond of Castlevania 64, but I thought one of the cool things about it is that you fight a bunch of vampires in it. Excuse me. Fight a bunch of vampires in it, and if you didn't like heal yourself, you'd be turned into a vampire, and it would be a game over. So in this case, you're not necessarily. This is not a vampire only card. This is just like a monster in general card. You have to. You have X amount of turns in order to get to the nearest chapel so they can heal you, and then if you don't get there within X amount of turns, then your stats start to decrease one by one, kind of deal. And once you reach 0 on all your stats, then you turn into a monster and you die. It's a game over. Anyway, so that's what that is. Another main, which is Rondo of Blood, knockback. So this one here, if you roll this, you don't take damage, but if you roll it, let's say like the Belmont got it here, knockback, you would go back to the start of the area. So this is the start of the area, and so you'd be knocked all the way back to the start. I don't have. Oh, actually, I totally do. Perfect. So if Belmont were to enter level 2, hope you can see that. And so this is how this works. That this is now here. If he was on level 2, he would then be knocked back to the start of the area here. And so that's what the knockback card is. Another Purification, Stone to Flesh. So if someone turns you into stone, which real quick, this is Castlevania 2. It's the little it's that diamond item that you have, crystal item. So there's some of these I just kind of changed. Anyways, so if you turn it into stone, you could heal yourself. Another thing, a wall meet, another tornado card, zombie hands again, secret room. There are 3 secret rooms. Another knockback card, another choices card, another merchant, horrible night to have a curse, secret room. Oh, let me show you the way, which I was just going to call Ferryman, and the picture here is actually concept art of the Ferryman. With the Ferryman here, you have, I think it's 1,000 gold pieces. He would take you to any one of the castle tiles that you want. So even though, let's say you find them and you're on in this opening section, if for some reason you had enough gold, you could then search through, let's say, level 5 tiles and say, well, I'm starting here on level 5, and then you'd have to play the rest of the map from a different section in the castle and build your way either forwards or backwards. Or if you already have a found area, you could say, okay, I want to go to this certain spot, and he'll just take you there. Yeah, so it's supposed to be a, because in the actual games he takes you to like a new area, like a secret area. That's what it's supposed to be. The key item there in one of the secret rooms is a door that leads to a room that has 3 chests, which have these 3 cards, Omnia Vanitas and the other 2. These are like, so you have to have the key, and if you drop the key, then you don't have access. You have to pretty much hold this key until you find this room. It's kind of a reference to Rondo. That if you wanted to use a room that had a key, you had to hold the key with you. Like you couldn't change out the key. You had to keep the key with you. Anyways, wall meat, another stoned flesh crystal. This is the little icon of the upgrades from the actual game. I just call it a self exorcism, and that's it. If you got cursed, you could heal your curse. Invisibility potion, pretty much you become invincible and can dodge past enemies. So that's what that is. Evil painting, tornado, wall meat, and I'm just gonna go quickly here. So exorcism, antidote to heal poison, invisibility potion, become invisible, another maiden card, and then morning sun has come to vanquish the horrible night. And so that was a very fast version of how this is. Again, this also took another half an hour to explain. These are some of the monster tokens here. Again, there's a lot to this game. Hopefully, again, you watch my how to play. There's a lot of rules I didn't explain, a lot of different details. For instance, like, wait a minute, so this door here is now against this wall. Well, you're absolutely right, it is. So what do? Nothing. It becomes a dead end. But let's say here that this was like this, and that even though this is now level 2, this is level 1. Well, because these doors hook up, you can now from level 2 go back down to level 1 through this door here, even though it's on a different floor. But you can only access level 2 or higher if you have the staircase that leads up to it. Again, whole bunch of stuff here. I tried to make this game, and it might sound a little on the overly complicated side, and I need to finish this up because this is like 5. But I tried hard to make it. Yeah, I might have a little bit of learning how to do it, but once you get into it, it's not that hard to follow. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna go back off to bed. So hopefully that kind of explains a little bit how this game works. Hopefully you understand that, hey, this is how this is supposed to happen. And yeah, please, if you have any questions, how does this work, please give me the heads up. I would love to be able to explain things within more details. There's a lot more to this game than what I'm giving my brief description of, and I appreciate you watching and hearing me ramble on. Thanks a bunch.